Video editing. So some people hate it and some people love it. And while I definitely fall under the latter, sometimes I do moan about how much time I spend editing a video. And when it comes to creating content for YouTube or video work for clients, it's true that time is money. So with that in mind, I want to share with you guys 10 time-saving tips when using Premiere Pro. So I guess I'll see you after that intro. So firstly, if you are watching this and you're not using Premiere Pro, sorry, I know that DaVinci Resolve is awesome and it's free, but Premiere Pro is a software I use. It's what most of my friends and colleagues use, and because of the whole Adobe Creative Cloud ecosystem, it's probably the video editor that I would recommend most people learn on if you're new to video editing. So sorry for all of you non-Premiere users, but pretty much all of these tips will still be relevant to other video editing programs too, but they probably may be just done in a slightly different way. So yeah, definitely keep watching this even if you don't use Premiere. Anyway, I want to keep this video nice and concise for you, so let's jump straight in with 10 time-saving tips that I personally use to keep my editing time down as much as possible. Some of these will be pretty obvious and others may be less so, but hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have come away with something valuable. So let's start with number 1. Learn your shortcuts. Yes, we're starting with the most obvious one, but sometimes I think people underestimate just how much time keyboard shortcuts can actually save. And not only that, but they just make the whole process of editing more intuitive, and it leads to a less frustrating experience. Now, some of my personal go-tos are the tilde key. I think this is called the tilde key, which full screens any part of the mouse that you're pointing at. For example, the timeline or the video or media that you're looking at. The arrow keys, so up and down, can quickly go through each clip, and you can go left and right to go forward 1 frame or back 1 frame. So that's very handy for those really precise cuts. I also like the backslash key to see a bird's eye view of my timeline. And I love the shortcuts for the tools like C for cut and V to go back to my select tool. It seems really simple, but it really does make a huge difference to your workflow. So definitely learn those keyboard shortcuts. It's probably the first thing you should do when you first start learning Premiere. So ditch that mouse and get on that keyboard. Ignore that, don't ditch your mouse, you are gonna need that as well. Number 2 is close gap. So this is one I absolutely love using. Back before I actually knew about this, I used to go through a long clip, cut everything one by one, and then manually drag the clips together like this. So it was fine, it worked for me, but then I discovered this magical close gap feature. So say you have a timeline like this, you have some footage cut up with the bits you want to keep. You literally just have to hit the close gap and voila, everything in your timeline snaps together. So time saved, great success. Number 3 is using the Soundwave. So if the footage you're going through has speech in it, like a talking headshot like this for example, you can utilize the Soundwave to see where your talking starts. So the Soundwave basically creates a visual graph of the sounds generated. So using this, you can see where all the quiet bits are, where you actually start talking, or where there is a cough or some kind of undesirable sound. So you can really quickly see, move, and cut out what's not needed. So for example, in this clip here, you can see this massive gap. So I already know straight away that's something that, I'm not talking, I don't need it, I can just cut that out. This is a really efficient way to save time when you're going through dialogue in particular. So definitely make use of that Soundwave. Number 4 is using bins. So bins are a great way to just organize your files. So I have had colleagues who literally just imported all of their files onto the timeline and their projects, but never actually organized all of their different files. So when it comes to actually trying to find something specific, that project window just looked like a big hot mess. So use bins and organize your folders by type, for example. So I like to have all of my video files in one bin, all of my photos, my music, graphics, and any extra things. So when I need quick access to something, I know exactly where to find it. You can even, create bins within bins. So if I go into a video, I have a bin for my main talking files. I call it A-roll, and my B-roll video files from screen capture. It sounds a little bit anal, I know, but organizing your workflow like this, it makes things a lot easier to manage. Especially like me, if you have multiple people working on a project, it's gonna save time rather than having to explain where everything is and what every file is. So take your time to organize your files into bins. It's gonna save you a big headache later down the line. Number 5 is color coding. So this is kind of an extension of the previous point, but it's another really great way to get your files organized, and that's by using the label feature to color code all of your files. So for example, you could have all your main video, your talking shots as blue, your B-roll could be pink, your audio could be orange, your photos could be a different color. Again, this may sound a little bit extra, but trust me, when you have a really big project and a big timeline, having everything color coded, it makes it so much easier to navigate your way through the timeline and be able to like visually see where everything is. It's another really valuable time saver. Number 6 is to use proxies. So speaking of very valuable time savers, I think using proxies is probably one of the most important things you could do. So we have made a full-on tutorial on how to do this, so definitely check that out here or here, someone's going to be. But essentially proxies are just clone copies of your original footage, but in a more efficient and manageable format. So this makes editing high-res footage a lot easier and faster, especially if you're editing on less powerful hardware, say you're using a laptop or a MacBook. So you may have unfortunately discovered that when you try to edit high-res footage on less powerful hardware, it just doesn't play back very smoothly, and editing it is just kind of like a nightmare. So using proxies literally turns that unusable footage into usable footage. So it can literally make a project that is completely impossible to edit suddenly possible. So your computer that couldn't handle 4K footage before, well, now it can. And then when you go to export, it reverts back to the original format. So good times all around and time saved, great success. So definitely use proxies. Number 7 is to copy and paste settings. So this is another really simple and easy time saver that I wish I knew when I was first learning. So let's say you have an effect that you want to have on one clip that you also want to apply to multiple clips. So for example, I often use dynamics to level out my sound. So in the past, I would apply this to one clip and then manually change the effect on each clip using the effects control for each individual clip. Now, little did I actually know that you can actually just right click, hit copy, and then paste settings, choose which effect you want to copy over, and boom, your settings have been copied over. So I kind of accidentally discovered this. I think it was about like 2 or 3 months after I first started using Premiere, and I was just kind of like, damn, why didn't you show me this before? Yeah, so copy and paste, super useful. Moving swiftly on, number 8 is use markers. So this is something that I find really useful for my workflow when I'm editing a video. So let's say I'm going through my talking headshot here, and I want to put some B-roll over something specific at that exact moment. Or maybe I want to put a photo or like a subtitle, a transition, etc. So I can add a marker here to remind me about the exact point where I need to do that. And I can then rename that marker to remind me what it is that I need. So rather than just making a mental note and then having to watch again and scrub through my footage multiple times, by the time I finish cutting my main shot, I can already see and know exactly all the points where I need to add things. Then once I'm done, I can remove the marker so I know it's completed. Kind of like when you're going through like side quests in a role-playing game. Shout out to all of you fellow gamers out there. So make sure you're utilizing markers in your projects. Number 9 is to save presets. So for example, if I am exporting a video and I have very specific settings that I know that I want to use for that particular video, for example, YouTube videos, I can choose all of my export settings and then I can hit this button here, save preset, name it whatever I want. And then from now on, anytime I go to export a video, I know if I click on that preset, it's going to have all of these settings pre-done for me without having to do everything manually. You can also save presets for things like your sequences, your color grades. So definitely make sure you're saving those presets, especially those ones you know you're going to be using frequently. It's going to save you a lot of time. And my last point is to make your workspace awesome. So this one isn't specifically about Premiere, but I think it's actually really important, especially for those of you who edit often, say you're editing for YouTube or for important projects, pretty much anyone who has to rely and spend time editing videos on a frequent basis. So make your editing space as comfortable and as pleasant as possible. You know, don't underestimate what a huge difference this can make. So when I was working in Vietnam, often I just had to make do with whatever I had, you know, sitting in an uncomfortable chair, hunched over my laptop. It's not really ideal. So I tried cafes and they can be okay, but they can get noisy or the Wi-Fi wouldn't be reliable. And I had to spend money to go there. Now that I know that I'm going to be settled in one place for a little while, just making my desk nice and clean, you know, like cable managing my wires, investing in a comfortable chair, using a nice big color accurate monitor, painting my walls, you know, hanging out wall art, got some plants, got some LED strips. All of these things, it just makes me more productive and more excited, and it makes me more happy to sit in this chair and edit for however many 100 hours that I'm going to be editing for. I promise you it will make you more productive, and you'll save time because you know you're going to be more comfortable and you're going to be able to work more efficiently. So don't underestimate, the power of having a really nice, clean, awesome workspace. Basically, whatever works for you. If you like working in mess, then great, make your desk messy. If you like cats, then fill your desk with cats. If you like flowers, just make your workspace work for you. Okay, well, there you have it. Hopefully you found this video useful, and you'll be able to use some of these tips to help speed up your Premiere workflow and save time. So I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts, and if you have your own tips that you want to share, definitely let us know in the comment section below so others can see as well. Any questions, you know what to do, and help us out by giving this video a thumbs up, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. Follow us on Insta and Facebook. And yeah, I guess that's the end of this video. Thanks so much for watching. Ciao and peace. See you on the next video.